Historically, why did many countries expel Jews? Well, you see, Jews, first of all, let me tell you this before I talk about other countries. Jews have been in India for about 2,100 years. About 100 BC is when you have the first Jews who get shipwrecked on Indian shores, and they were allowed to settle down in India. And they lived in India for 2,100 years. And then you had multiple more waves of Jews who came into India and settled into India. One of these migrations to India was after the Maccabean riot, right? Maccabean revolt against the Roman rule over Judea, Roman occupation of Judea, and the destruction of the Second Temple of Solomon. And a number of Jews escaped and fled to India. And they also settled down in India, and you had multiple other migrations of Jews to India. So Jews have been living in India for about 2,100 years at least. India never expelled Jews. India never oppressed Jews. Jews were allowed to keep on practicing their indigenous, their original religion. Jews were never asked to convert or to change their lifestyle or whatever. So India never did that to the Jews. Okay, India has never shown any kind of anti-Semitism to the Jews ever. When it comes to other countries, let's say European countries, Jews have lived in Europe for about 2,000 years, I would say, roughly, and they have been persecuted all over the place. Every single European kingdom, country, empire has persecuted Jews. And Jews have been accused of all kinds of nasty things. In some countries in Europe, they accuse Jews of poisoning the wells. So whenever there is an outbreak of plague because the Europeans are dirty and they don't take bath, they accuse Jews of poisoning the wells. So you are poisoning the wells and we are drinking from the wells, and that's why we are getting the plague. And that's why we are all dying out. So the Jews are responsible for that. And they would then go and massacre Jews. Then they would accuse Jews of some blood libel or something, drinking blood of children or something. Okay, so that's another thing that Jews were accused of doing. Another thing that they would accuse Jews of doing was of hoarding wealth and stealing gold and clipping coins and whatnot. So these accusations were all over Europe, but never in India. If the Jews are truly so evil as the Europeans have claimed for 2,000 years, how come the Jews were never accused of these things in India? How come? So it makes no sense. It makes no sense. These were all lies, clearly. Because if Jews are so evil as the Europeans claimed, then they would have been as evil as that in India also. But they never did a thing in India. They were the best guests for 2,000 years in India. So clearly the Europeans were lying. Or otherwise we are lying and we were tolerating this nonsense. Clearly we were not. So these are the reasons why the Jews were persecuted, oppressed, massacred, pogromed, genocided over and over and over and over again in Europe. In Spain, it's a whole different set of reasons. After the Reconquista, even the Jews were expelled from Spain, and many of them, those Jews came and settled in India. Some of them at least, and so on. Yeah.